The winter EDC update. I put together a couple of videos lately, one about my premium EDC pouch, one about my urban EDC pouch. Let's talk about the EDC items that are on my tier 1, items that are actually on my physical person. This is the winter update. These are probably going to basically stay the same until springtime. So this is my tier 1 EDC update for 2024. Well, I guess we have to start with the basics when it comes to the winter EDC update. And we're gonna start off with the trousers that I like to wear the most year round really, but in the summer and springtime, I change the shorts into lighter fare. But I literally own 7 different pairs of these. I don't wear them 7 days a week, but I probably wear them a good 4 or 5 different days a week. I'm wearing a pair now. I have another pair in my lap. These are the Vertex Delta Stretch 2.1 trousers, and I'm a big fan of these things. They have all sorts of features inside which have made these easily my favorite trousers that I've ever owned. And there's just so many different features that make it so that it's easy to recommend these when anybody's ever asking, like, what do I recommend when it comes to EDC trousers and stuff like that. They have 14 pockets. None of them are cargo pockets. Okay, that's something that's fantastic. They have these little small pockets in the very back. They call these things dual angle rear yoke pockets. They fit stuff inside of here like cell phones or mag pouches, whatever you want to put in there. This is normally where I do put my cell phones back here. They have wallet traps in the very back of the trousers. There are literally flaps to help keep your wallet or your passport from coming out or from somebody pickpocketing you if you still carry your wallet in your back pocket, which I don't do, but if you're still that type of person that likes to, you might want to be, you know, that might be important to you. They also have super deep pockets for the main pockets themselves, which I really like. The pockets are mesh, which makes life a little bit easier as well. Also inside of the pocket are little key loops. So you could literally clip your keys to this, so you don't have to worry about your keys falling out of your pocket if you're on a roller coaster, if you don't, you know, once again, getting pickpocketed or doing something extreme. You can clip your, if you have a carabiner or whatever, clip your keys to the inside of that. That's pretty good as well. Then they also have very, very good belt loops for flexible restraints and just very heavy duty belts you can run through this. We'll talk about the belts that I run through these overall. They have knife notches or tool notches. Specifically, this is kind of where I keep multi-tools and knives or whatever. The pockets come down into like this shape here, which allows for you to carry different items comfortably in a pocket and not at any specific angle. And super hard to see here, but one thing I like about it, they have dye to match leather in these little pockets here. So if you do keep more abrasive items in here, which I do, you don't have to worry about those items, belt clips tearing the trousers, which is a big deal. So if you have a flashlight or a knife with an aggressive pocket clip, you don't have to worry about that ripping in these small little pockets here on the side. They have brass YKK zippers, and they're really good zippers, self-correcting. I haven't had any issues with these things. And the most important feature of these trousers, hands down, is they're 98% cotton, 2% spandex. That means, you know what I'm saying, you're about 2 biscuits away, you got a little bit of give in these things. They have like a little extra material in the knees, which make them stretch a little bit better. These are my favorite trousers overall. So I talk about all the features because they're like 90-something bucks. And check the links in the description down below. I can probably get you a little bit off that price a little bit. You know, I would suggest that if you, even if you don't get Vertex, I wore 511 for years, but whatever you do, just maybe buy yourself 1 pair of trousers every 3 months, 4 months, or twice a year. Next thing you know, you'll have 5, 6, 7 pairs of a really durable, dependable trouser that as long as you're not gaining weight or losing weight extremely, you could wear for years and years and years. That brings me to my belt. This is the CQR heavy duty utility belt. It's like a tactical belt. They even put like little tactical in the wording here. I don't know if it's really tactical or whatnot, but it's a polyester fabric. It has a high density plastic buckle here. So you don't have to take this off when you go through metal detectors, which I like. And you can cut this and burn it if you lose weight and just resize it as you see fit and don't have to worry about buying a new belt. This is great for CCW. This holds my trousers up well. This holds my actual boomstick up all together. I appendix carry most of the time. This holds it all very, very easily. So the basis for all of it is kind of important for me because I do a lot of different stuff, whether I'm riding my bikes, riding one wheels, picking up kids, working at the house. Start with a good foundation, go from there. You will not regret it. All right, so we'll continue talking about things that directly touch my body. Next is going to be the watch. This is the VAR A12 Dirty Dozen. This is a Micro brand here in the United States. They make most of their watches in the States. This one specifically just happens to be made in Switzerland. This is a 36mm watch. It does, which is kind of like my sweet spot. I don't really like watches that are more than 40mm. 36mm, 38mm is kind of like my go-to when it comes to a watch. A Swiss automatic movement. You can see that Swiss movement literally because the back of the watch is see-through. So a glass back for the front. The front is a domed sapphire, which I'm a big fan of. Guaranteed waterproof up to 100 meters because it does have a screw down crown on the side and it does have a signed crown on the side. They guarantee this waterproof for minimum 2-year warranty, waterproof warranty. I love automatic movements. I love the fact that they tick more than 1 time per second. Quartz movements generally tick 1 time per second. I love the fact this is handmade. I also love the history when it comes to just field watches in general. These trousers are decked out how I normally would wear the stuff on me. So instead of me standing up and getting down and standing up and getting down, I'm just kind of show you how I generally carry stuff whenever it is on my person. So this is the left side of the trousers. This is kind of how I would normally keep stuff. In the little crease pocket, part of the pocket that we mentioned earlier, this is where I keep my multi-tool. So the multi-tool that I carry, this is the Leatherman Free P4. I've had this for a couple of years. This thing does run about $149. Sometimes you can find it a little bit cheaper than that. Check the links in the description down below. You never know what you're able to snag. But I've done a couple of mods to mine because I had FOMO. I have FOMO and I really want the Leatherman Arc, but the thing is I don't need it. I own the Leatherman Wave Plus, Surge, Free P4, the Mutt, Curl, Bond, Wingman, a lot. I own a lot of them. And so there's not a need for me to get it. So I decided to do a mod and I actually added a 1/4 bit driver in here, a standard size bit driver. It actually locks still with the mechanism of the Leatherman Free P4, but that lets me do stuff like I can keep a T8 in here, which is good for tightening stuff, like the pivots of a pocket knife. Or if I have anything like these laying around with me, I could just simply change this out, a larger, like a T25 or something like that. It's easier for me to do that with a standard bit versus the Leatherman's thin bits. And shout out to Leatherman for being, being intuitive with your system and coming up with a proprietary system. But we all love just being able to use stuff that we already have laying around and that we already own. I'll link that up down below where I was able to snag that at. But I normally just leave the T8 or T10 loaded in this thing at all times. That way, if I ever have anything going wrong with a pocket knife, I can easily make that adjustment. So another thing I did add on here is I never used the serrated blade of the Leatherman Free P4. So I have a Leatherman curl that was laying around. I sacrificed because I wanted the diamond file out of there. Now I did have to do some grinding and I did have to do a little bit of spot welding to get this to fit in here and still work with the lock mechanism of the multi-tool. But I love the file that comes in the Wave Plus, comes in the Arc, it comes in the Curl, and it probably comes in a few other of the multi-tools. The Leatherman Juice has a smaller version of this. This had a very small file before, completely useless, and it wasn't a diamond file. It didn't have a file on the sides. I like these features, so got rid of the serrated blade. I rarely worked with rope, and I linked that down below. If you don't have a curl or a wave or anything like that laying around, then you can always snatch just The file itself, a place like eBay or maybe Amazon, it shouldn't cost you more than like 12 or 15 bucks. A nice DIY that you can do. It still has everything else in here that I could use on the daily. My other favorite tools in here, hands down, are probably gonna be this little box opener here. This is a slotted screwdriver slash, you can use it for prying, but it also has this like sharp edge here, which is good for opening packages. So it's a package opener. Then you also have the Phillips with a bottle cap lifter here. So I use these pretty often, so I didn't want to get rid of those. The magnetic opening of the Leatherman Free Series is fantastic because you can do that bad boy one-handed. So that it doesn't matter if it's the Leatherman Arc or if it's the Garage, Free P2, Free P4, they all have that easy one-hand opening, one-hand closing mechanism, which is why people like these specific multi-tools so much. This is gonna keep me from getting the Arc. And if you don't wanna spend that type of money, then I would even recommend like the Wave, or if you're okay with it, maybe even the Leatherman Curl. Sticking on the same side of these trousers, right there in the little color matched utility pocket, is my flashlight. And I love the fact it has that little bit of leather there that protects the pocket, because the pocket clip on this flashlight is extremely aggressive, but I really, really like it. This is the Nikkor EDC 33. This includes lumen shield technology. We'll talk about that here in a second. 4,000 max lumen output with a 492-yard throw. You're basically able to use this thing about a quarter of a mile. Hidden USB-C charging port. My favorite part of this thing is just very, very easy to slide that over, charge this thing up as you see fit. It also has 4 brightness modes, plus it has this 1200 lumen search mode. So one thing I really like about this flashlight is when you have it in that high lumen, it knows when your object is placed too close to it. So now I have it in high lumen mode. As soon as you get close to that, it will automatically bring itself down to prevent overheating and to prevent the object that's in front of it from burning. So you accidentally put your hand in front of it or something like that, it brings it down. That's pretty smart. I'm a big fan of that feature. When this thing is fully charged, you can get about 60 hours of usage of this thing on low mode. I literally have been using this thing consistently for almost 2 months and I have yet to charge it. That's one of my biggest favorite parts, but it is USB Type-C, so even when it's time to charge it, it won't be that big of a deal. Another thing about it is when you have this thing turned on, there's a lock switch on the side. So when you have that on, if you switch this to this position, it automatically turns the flashlight off. However, another thing that you can do is that if you have it in the high position when you put it in the lock mode, when you're in the lock mode, you can't turn the flashlight on normally. However, because you were holding it down when you put it in lock mode, you can use the momentary brightness feature. So there's 2 different ways to lock this flashlight. So I normally do keep it in that mode. So that way, even if it's in a lock mode, I can quickly pull it out and go to 4,000 lumens very quickly by having to half press on the actual rear tail switch itself. That's an awesome feature to know that this thing won't just be on in your pocket, because that only turns on when you're half pressing, and as soon as you let it go, it turns off. Lots of knurling on the side of this thing. Pocket clip only goes one way. You're not going to be putting this on your hat or anything like that. So if you need that, then you might want to look somewhere else. You can get it. I used to carry its little brother, the EDC 27, for quite a while, and I'm a big fan of flat flashlights, but in the winter time, it gets dark earlier, it stays dark longer, and it seems to be dark in the winter. So the thing that really draws me in on this is that although it's a little bit heavier, I love the fact that this thing can pump out 4,000 lumens. I can see down my entire alley, see what's going on at night, easily use this as much as I want to. This complements the flashlight that's in my Urban EDC pouch well, because that flashlight does not have a spot. It's only a flood, and it's a UV light. This one's a spot, doesn't have any other features like UV or anything like that. Very, very simple. Once you learn how to use this, I think you will be more prone to use a flashlight more often. Now, the EDC 35 recently came out as well, and I'm interested in definitely possibly doing a review on that, but I can't recommend carrying a flashlight enough on your person. Even if you don't carry this one, you could think about getting the EDC 27. Let me show you. Even the EDC 27 has some of those same features for locking and lock mechanisms and stuff like that. So whenever I have the EDC 27 in high mode, there's a countdown timer. There's a countdown timer that lets you know how much longer you have until that thing is actually going to go down. It seems to go down pretty fast, and then it takes a while before you can use that again. This is a great flashlight as well if you don't want to have to get either or. Use the coupon down below to get either one of these 10% off using my coupon code, and grab these. I think that either one of these are a great option, even if you don't want to use this one. This one will fit in this side pocket pretty good as well. The only reason I wanted to go with the 33 is I just like the way that the 33 has more lumen output, and I can stay in the search mode for a longer period of time. But either one of these two are bangers, and I would go with very, very easily. Nothing else. I don't normally keep anything else in the front area of this thing, but I do kind of in this little pocket, the hidden pocket that's right behind the main pocket back here is where I keep my wallet. And now I am rocking the Axwell interchangeable plate wallet. This one specifically is the copper wallet, but you can easily swap this out with any other place that you get from Axwell's website. Take these things off, swap it out, put on another plate very quickly, very easily. It has a built-in money strap. This thing can hold about 12 cards very easily. You can also get the money clip. I have the money clip on my orange version of this wallet. I tend to keep this one just run naked because I like the way the copper looks. I'm already starting to get a lot of patina from October of 2022 all the way till now. Get lots of patina action on this, and I don't even carry this every day. So if you do decide to pick this one up, it's gonna look fantastic patina wise if you're into that type of stuff. I've never had any issues with losing the back plate with my cash on it, even though the back plate is also exchangeable just like the front. And so I wasn't a big fan of these at first. MSRP on this thing's like $120. Pricing has come down. You can normally pick these things up below 100 bucks, like normally around the $75, $80 mark, something like that. I think these might be on sale now. Check the links in the description. And also part of their revenue goes towards vets. So I think that's pretty awesome as well. So if I'm really into copper, brass, or aluminum wallets, or leather. I'm not really into like recycled material wallets or anything like that. So that leads me to the other side of the trousers themselves. So that same slip pocket, just like on the other side for the wallet, that is where my cell phone lives all the time. The thing I like about this pocket is that I can sit with my phone in this pocket, in my truck, in a seat. I don't sit on my phone, it doesn't get in my way. I think that's pretty awesome. I have a Google Pixel 7 in there. It's about the same size as an iPhone Pro, I guess. iPhone 13 Pro, 14 Pro, 15 Pro, or whatever. This is like a 6.3-inch screen. So you know you should be able to fit your phone in this pocket relatively easily. The same utility pocket that has that leather on the other side is where I keep my knife. I'm rocking the Hogue Deca. This is the modified Warney style blade. It does have G10 scales on it, and the scales have like this cross dark earth pattern on it. CPM 20 CV steel, and I just like this thing a lot. I like the fact it's great for zip ties, everyday tasks, just kind of knocking out things that you need to do. It does have their Able Lock technology, similar to Benchmade's Axis Lock. Very easy to use. You can use the actual pivot to open it and to close it. And the more you work this thing out, the easier it becomes to use. I think you can also get this in a drop in a clip point style blades. I'm pretty sure of that. You can change out the pocket clip if you want to, get any type of accessories. This is just something I think is a very good looking knife. I've been seeing like a lot of D2 steel knives creep up in price lately. The other day I saw a knife that was D2, decent scales. It was like G10, like multiple ways to open it, but it's like $165, $175. And I would rather spend a little bit more money and get a, not better, but a greater steel where I won't have to sharpen it as often. And so that's something I think about. Hardness, toughness, all the other stuff is great, but I don't want to spend tons of time always sharpening my knife because I hard use it, or because I'm using it to do stuff like I shouldn't be doing, like prying or stuff like that. My advice to you for buying a knife, if it's your first knife, the knife that you might want to be getting, is don't spend more than 2 hours on your pay on a knife to figure out if you're gonna like it, if you're trying to get into EDC. So if you make $25 an hour, don't spend more than 50 bucks on a knife. If you're a baller and you make $100 an hour, don't spend more than $200 on a knife. That way, if you hate it, if you don't like EDC, you've only wasted 2 hours of your life. So that's, if you're a salaried employee, take your salary divided by 2,000 hours, and that's about how much you make an hour. In this pocket area here is an actual secret zipper. And in that zipper area is where I only keep one item in here, and it's a very deep zipper area. And I just keep a lighter with a butane insert. This is a Zippo lighter with a butane insert. Of course, I smoke sticks, and it's just nice to be able to start a fire, be that guy, save the birthday party, be able to start a fire. I barbecue pretty often as well. I love to just be able to start my barbecue grill, get the charcoal going real quick, throw dinner on. I always have a fire source in my pocket. So it's just nice to have. If you smoke sticks or if you just want a fire source in your pocket, keep that there. So in the main pocket itself lies my keys. Now my keys oftentimes have my key fob connected to it. I have the ability to throw my key fob on it. But the main portion of my keys are the key bar system. Now this was a special edition system where you can get the actual Cerakoted copper and titanium set that they had. I was using Jibbin system, Orbit key system, Wingback system, a lot of different competitors, even Esker's key system for a while. And I have landed on this for the last month and a half, mainly because my keys stay put. The actual jagged part, the rigid part of my keys are hidden from my pocket while they're inside. I don't have to worry about them tearing them up. This can hold up to 12 keys. I have some fatter keys in here, so a little bit less. I probably got the spacers all wrong and stuff like that, but you can add tools to this. You can add stuff like slotted screwdrivers, knives, X-Acto blades, Phillips screwdrivers. They probably got other stuff on their website as well. This is nice and simple. It's made in America. The keys just swing out for easy use. You can get to them very easily. So I like that. You do have to take this apart with a slotted screwdriver to access the tools, but what this has made me appreciate, as much as I love the Jibbin unsnap and all that, this has made me appreciate and sit down and really think about how I'm gonna organize my keys. They also have this little lanyard holder on here, and on there I've added their little key bar mag nut. This is a copper magnetic clip, and what it allows you to do, keep your key fob away from your keys itself. And so whenever you need them, you can just come out and add your key fob to your keys or whatever the case may be. So I like this because sometimes I drive my wife's car, she has a Lincoln, or I might have to drive my truck, and my truck I still have to physically put the key in the ignition. So I don't want to permanently keep my keys attached to it. I hate keys that jingle. I hate keys that jingle, but I can't always leave these at home. I ride my bike a lot. As I mentioned, I ride my one wheel. I go on rucks. So I oftentimes need to be able to literally unlock my front door. So I have to bring this with me. So I need my keys to be as quiet as possible. So key bar made in America. You can get them for a relatively decent price. This is a little bit more than Orbit key. And that leads me to another item that's always on me. I have been testing out this Ultra Human ring here. This is a ring that's similar to like the Whoop. Since I don't wear a smartwatch, this thing does stuff like sleep tracking, takes the temperature of my skin, tells me how well my sleep was, lets me know when it's the best time for me to intake caffeine, which I thought was pretty awesome. I'm gonna probably do a review on this thing. Shout out to John Gadget. I saw him check this thing out, and I thought I just need to snag one for myself to see if I can improve my sleep, to see if I can improve my activity. And I didn't have to wear, I had the Whoop for a while, and I didn't like the fact that it had a monthly subscription. This thing, although it is pricey to buy in one lump sum, once you buy it, all the services are just included. I guess that brings me to the part of the EDC that people ask me all the time. X, do you carry a boomstick? Every time you talk about these videos, you never mention it, and YouTube's pretty sensitive about this stuff. So we'll talk about it briefly, but we're not gonna unholster it and stuff like that. I do carry a J-frame 38 special, Saturday night special by Smith & Wesson. No hammer, hammerless, no safety. I carried in a hidden hybrid holster. I like to appendix carry. I have an added claw that allows for me to keep the actual holster closer to my body. And it also allows for this to grip to the inside of my trousers. So if I draw, the holster will not come with the weapon. So that's an add-on that you can do. I got it in the olive green color. I'm a big fan of this carry, this setup. It has a very soft lining in the back. If you want to know more about this stuff, maybe I'll post it somewhere else. Like, you know, I don't know, maybe I need to write an article or a blog or some stuff like that. But this is a very important piece to the carry itself. As a man, I think it's important to, you know, evade, fight, and recover. And for me, I would get myself out of a situation, come home to my kids, to my family, versus always wanting to be the aggressor and super save a hoe. That's not my goal. But if it does come down to a point of fighting, I prefer to go fist to cuffs. I'd much rather get my ass beat in a fist fight than to be 6 feet deep. But if it gets to that point where you don't have a choice, then I do have something to protect myself. So that's something that's important as well. Another part of the tier 1 are things that kind of help with that FOMO that I talked about earlier. Of course, the Hogue Deca is the main folder for the winter, but just to avoid always wanting to switch knives over and over, I don't carry this every day, but it does probably get carried about 2 or 3 days a week. This is the Montana Knife Company. This is the Blackfoot. I'm a big fan of this fixed blade knife, man. The thing I like about it is it has G10 scales, it has full tang action, Magna cut, but overall this thing just kind of gets the job done. If I'm ever going to be in a situation where I don't want to put too much pressure, too much, you know, you overuse my actual Deca or put too much pressure on that thing, I will pull this knife out, or I will know that I need to carry it with me that day. Hunting, fishing, situations where my hands might be sweaty, bloody, something like that. I'm a big fan of carrying this thing. It doesn't really have a finger choil, doesn't have anything like that, but it is designed by Master Bladesmith, Josh Smith, USA made. Company is up there in Montana, obviously being called Montana Knife Company. And then the knife itself is $300. So that's a pretty pricey boy. But once you're past those two facts that you can't really move away from, I think you'll be more comfortable with carrying this knife. It has a full lifetime warranty, very easy to work on. You can change out the scales even if you wanted to, because it has big old, I think it has T6 or T8 bolts on here. So if you wanted to swap that out, you can. Has a fantastic sheath, which allows for you to carry it up, or you can even run it through your belt. You can run this thing sideways. When wearing it on your actual body, when your shirt is untucked, you can't see this knife at all. It has a fantastic snap. When you put it back into its sheath, you know with confidence that it's in there very easily. Now, I mentioned this before recently in a video. I do have Ray-Ban Metas. I only have one pair. I have 2 cases because I lost the first one for like a day and then I found it. But now I kind of like the fact I have 2 cases, because now I have the way to keep one on my desk and keep one in my EDC. The reason I'm bringing these out is because these are worn on my person. Since October, basically every single day at some point of the day. These are transition sunglasses. So in the house, they're this color, but as soon as I go out, they transition to sunglasses. If you get these, get the transitions, because you're gonna hate the fact that you got them in sunglasses. You can't wear them at night. Don't get them in amber or none of that other stuff. Get them, or if you really just can't get them that way, at least buy the frames exactly how you want them. I got them in this like flashy translucent color for the frames. And then you can always buy new lenses in the future, but the lenses can be replaced. I would say buy them in transition when you first buy them, but the frames themselves, you can't just quickly swap those out. So get them exactly how you want them. I would recommend that you don't get the matte black because they're a fingerprint magnet. I had those and I returned them within 7 days, and I ended up getting the color that I have. But they're fantastic. They, you know, they allow for me to not have to put earbuds in my ears if I don't want to, so I can still hear what's going on around me. I can wear them when I'm like riding a one wheel, when I'm rucking, riding a bike. I can hear traffic, dogs, people. No one can sneak up on me when I'm wearing those. I can still listen. I mostly listen to talk radio, and because I mostly jam to talk radio, then I can almost always hear my surroundings. They also have like smart features to let you know. You can push a button and see what's in front of you and ask Meta. Now you do have to be okay with giving Meta your information, but ask Meta what it's looking at. It can give you information about the weather. It also can take videos up to 1 minute, and it can take photos. It has like 32 gigabytes of storage on the glasses, which is a ton of storage. So they're pricey when you first buy them, But once you have them and you get those moments with your family, your daughter, your kids, your uncles, your aunts, grandmas, that you can't get your phone out fast enough, it's very nice to be able to just have these on your face, know that you want to catch that specific moment, and you can do it very quickly by just simply snapping a button on the side and you take a photo just that fast. So you don't have to worry about missing a precious moment. That's why I like these so much. Now, in cases where I actually do want to zone out a little bit more, I will bust out the traditional earbuds. Google Pixel Buds Pro. These are the updated versions to the Google Pixel Buds that came out in 2020. I have been increasingly liking these more and more. I'm an Android fanboy, so my work phone is an iPhone. My main phone is a Google Pixel, so therefore Google Pixel Buds just kind of makes sense to use mostly than anything else. So comment down below. What did you see in this EDC you thought was interesting? What do you think I should scrap? What do you carry in your EDC? What should I pick up in 2024? If it has titanium scales, I probably won't buy it, but maybe. Put your comments down below. If you tell me what you don't like and I should get rid of it, I'll probably tell you to pound sand. So feel free to do that as well. There's other things I could add to it, like challenge coins, which bring me joy, fidgets, which I think are stupid, or brass knuckles or nunchucks, which I think are absurd. But you may like them. Pry bars and pokey things. That might be all for you. This is your first time stopping by, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, thank you once again for stopping by, watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.